Chronic diarrhea would certainly be anemic and very weak and broken down in terms of their constitution. Okay. Blood 200 or mix 2 is a very good remedy to start with, especially if you don't know the case so clearly. There's so many things going on, but what you notice is there's a general weakness. They certainly have liver issues. They have pancreatic issues, gallstones. Their digestion is weak, and it can even affect their eyes, their eyesight, because liver can affect our eyesight. And they're borderline anemic, and 90% of the population is borderline anemic. If we get our blood tests, we don't have healthy blood works, and some people put it under the microscope and they can see that our blood corpuscles are very thin and not robust. So you can use this as one of the starting remedies for any case to clear off a lot of symptoms and get a clearer picture of what is going on. So it's a good background remedy as well. If you're giving a, let's say, a constitutional remedy, or let's say you're giving lycopodium, because the case is very much a lycopodium case, but you're not seeing much progress, then you can add blood 200, because it will clear out and clean out the pancreas, the liver, the spleen. So when you're giving it as a background remedy, you can just start out once a day, and then build up to twice a day, 3 times a day, so that anytime that there's an aggravation, you can stop. Although I haven't really experienced much aggravation with the Narayani remedies, even if some of them are in 50 m, 10 m, I don't really experience much aggravation. So as you can see, it's a really good combination of a lot of organ remedies: China, Chininsulf, Cupromet, Ferromet, Natmure. So it has a really good combination of remedies. So TDS is 3 times a day, BD is twice a day, and OD is once a day. So you just have to remember that when you're looking at the instructions. Wait, Michi's trying to get in touch with me. Okay. So here, bone 1, 200, mix 3. This one naman is a good remedy for any bone irregularity, whether it's overgrowth or undergrowth of bone, whether it's a calcification or whether it's a, let's say, osteoporosis. So it's also a good background remedy. I give it together with, let's say, Hecla lava or other constitutional or fundamental remedies. So this one works on bone, teeth, and calcium and phosphorus balance. In fact, I'm taking this now also for my, I have this overgrowth in my finger, and I also still am working on this never-ending tooth condition that I have. So good for background for anyone with bone issues. So here it's got bone, a homeopathic bone, calc floor, calc phos, Hecla lava, even thyroid, because a parathyroid. Remember that the parathyroid is what balances our calcium in the body. So if the parathyroid hormones are off, the calcitonin, then we can experience osteoporosis. So always look for a connection between thyroid condition and the bones wasting away, especially osteoporosis. Same with menopause and other menstrual concerns with bone loss as well. Okay, and then here we have number 4 is brain. So brain is more of a general remedy for people that have brain fog, they're a little slow, kids that are lazy to study, no focus. So if you look at this, what is the breakdown of brain 2? It's got mental retardedness, definitely not a PC word to use, yin yang, and progesterone. So what Swami Narayani did was she worked with Tansley. Tansley was I guess he was a homeopath, but he was also a radionics expert. And he made special remedies out of certain conditions. So people can make homeopathic remedies by dowsing. So Swami Narayani also used a lot of dowsing or pendulum work in picking remedies, in figuring out ailments. And this is how they picked out rates for conditions. Like if you're familiar with Grabovoi, I think he's really big on TikTok now. Grabovoi has different rates for, let's say, success, for beauty, etc. So this is similar to Grabovoi rates. So Tansley was a master in dowsing and was able to get rates for things like mental retardedness. Yin yang, because you need to balance the male female energy as well. And then there's brain tissue salts. This is a combination of all the tissue salts that are made for the brain. It's similar to our tissue salt, so you can just make your own combination. You don't have to get the Narayani one, but it's calc-fluor, calimure, califos, and magfos. So this is also for people with Alzheimer's or people that want to prevent Alzheimer's. It's always good to prevent rather than treat. So for students that need to study, if you need to focus, or people that are forgetful, anytime that there's a mental deficiency that you just want to boost, then you can give tissue salts as well as the brain remedy. You have to remember, if we're doing giving Narayani remedies, we still do it by organ systems. Like if, for example, you have to do, if you're doing a chronic case and you know that you're working now on digestion, then give digestion remedies. Give organ remedies for digestion, like China or like a podium. You can even add a miasmatic remedy if you knew what the miasm was, once a week. And then you can give a background Narayani remedy. So that's the triage that I've been using now, and I find that cases move a lot faster. If I'm giving a miasmatic remedy, I'm giving the indicated remedy, the indicated organ remedy, or the indicated single remedy, and a background support remedy. So I find that this has been working with people with severe chronic conditions also. It kind of boosts up their vitality. And then I move on to the next organ system. I try not to mix, let's say, bone with digestion or liver. You know, so you still have to do an element of case taking and figure out what is the energy leak that you need to work on the most. Okay, then here we have calming pills. I like the calming pills because they really work on low-grade anxiety. I don't have high-grade anxiety, but there's sometimes when I'm so excited and I get a little anxious because I have a lot of deadlines to meet. I take some calming pills, or if I can't sleep at night because I've watched too much Netflix, or I have too much ideas in my head that I want to execute, I take some calming pills, and that sometimes helps me sleep even before I use the the Narayani mix for sleep, which is also really good. It knocks me out, 1 or 2 doses, and I'm completely knocked out. So calming pills can also be used for people with anxiety. It can be like a rescue remedy. And then you can add other remedies on top of it. There's other shock remedies, there's other grief remedies. So yeah, you can just read more about it. It's also a combination remedy. And then we have CB7. So CB7 is more of a boosting. It's a good remedy for boosting people with very low broken down constitutions. So people recovering from viral diseases, from COVID, people with cancer, etc. So this works on muscles, blood vessels, and cerebral congestion. So anyone that's tired, exhausted, broken down, and needs a little boosting, then you can give CB. CB, I guess, just means combination 7. So you can see what it's composed of. This is more of physical weakness rather than mental weakness or emotional depression. This is more of a physical type of weakness, paralysis, prostration, can't get out of bed. Okay, then we have chest 30. So chest 30 is for coughing, wheezing, bronchitis, asthma, emphysema. So it works on most coughs, dry or with expectoration, because the combination of remedies it has works for both dry or any kind or coughs with expectoration. So asthma, emphysema, if you're still figuring out the remedy for asthma for your child, while you're still figuring out, you can give this as a remedy. So Narayani remedies are also good as bridge remedies. As you're still figuring out, or you've tried remedies, they haven't worked, or they work but they don't stick, then you can give these remedies to just increase the vibration of their respiratory area or of any organ area that needs boosting. And then there's the same combination of tissue cell salts, similar to the brain cell salts. So you can just make your own combination as well. So I won't read it now in detail. So climacteric is for menopause. I use this in combination with Menses 1, which is another mix. I'm not sure if it's a Soham mix. So issues coming around menopause, there's still bleeding, spotting, non-stop bleeding. I usually use it together with Menses 1 or Menses irregular. So there are other remedies for menstrual issues and menstrual concerns depending on where it is. There's even one that's specific to dysmenorrhea. But this is one that I use for issues for menopause because it's got estrogen and oophorinum, which are nosodes of the ovaries. It's also good if they have anxiety together with their menopause. Aconite's good for that. And also lachesis is good for the hot flushes, as well as amyl nitrate is also good. So you can add, like you can see here, that they use it with calming pills. They can use it with aconite. So it's a good background remedy. So cold pills. Cold pills are for your average cold. So this is like an OTC for colds. And it can also be for hay fever. If you haven't figured out yet the remedy for hay fever, this is one of the remedies that you can add for hay fever, also to boost the vitality while you're still figuring out the remedy. Or sometimes you find that this may just do the job as well, because it's got the combination of most of the acute cold remedies, as you can see: aconite, allium cepa, euphrasia, and gelsemium. Now, mind you, you can make your own combinations based on the recipes that they've given. I remember that before I even had Narayani Remedies, I already had the book. I would just follow some of the combinations myself. But, it's always easier to just also buy the mix. Okay, then number 12 is combination of all cell salts. So that you can make yourself, especially if you've already taken the cell salts class. You can make your own combination. So that's basically like the Highlands biochemic cell salt combination. So it's also good to add to anyone that's weak and needs boosting. Sometimes all you have to do with people is just boost their energy, and there are many nice energy boosters here, and they'll already have confidence in especially in your ability, especially if you're just starting out and you don't really know exactly what combinations to give. That's why Narayani is very interesting to give as a support remedy. Okay, so then here we have constipation. So this one is a breakdown of the top constipation remedies. So this is like differentials all in a bottle. That's what I love. When you look at it, it's like, oh, okay, all the differentials I normally would use, except I don't think I would have used opium, but apparently opium can be for our hard, round, black balls of stool. Plumbum is a constipation remedy. So that's something that you can try if you haven't, instead of taking, or if you're weaning from your laxatives, give constipation 200 and try to wean slowly off the laxative. Like maybe skip first twice a week, and then 3 times a week, 4 times a week. Take it every 3 days, every 4 days. So when people are on medication, it's nice to also support them with Narayani remedies as you are weaning them. And then you can add the indicated remedy for the constipation, like Nux Bomb or Brionia, etc. So this one, the next one, number 14, is for cramps. So any kind of cramping, whether it's from asthma, whether it's from menses, convulsions, colic spasms, and pain. I actually haven't tried this because I give Magfos, I give Colocint, and they usually work. So this one is a combination. And I found that with Narayani remedies, you can even, if it says 3 times a day, you can even give it as much as 6 times a day for acute. Like for acidity, hyperacidity, they have a good acidity mix. I find that I need to take it almost every hour. And then after about 4 or 5 doses, it helps. Sometimes after 1 dose, it helps and it comes back, so you take again. And then after 4 or 5 doses, it's gone completely. So if you're weaning people off their PPIs and their acidity medication, you can give Narayani remedies for that. Here naman is for diarrhea. So milk allergies, diarrhea, it's a breakdown of all the top diarrhea remedies. So it also has a little bit of bowel nosode. So it's self-explanatory. You can definitely try this if somebody has diarrhea. So here it says even every 15 minutes until eased, and then every 3 or 4 hours until settled. Okay, mix 16 here. This is an interesting one. It's called drawing 6X. And this is for what they call all morbid conditions, and it holds infections and it draws. So I encounter a lot of patients, clients that have had long-standing infections, long-standing skin conditions, long-standing disease, where there's a low-grade infection going on, whether it's from the tooth or another part of the body. Be careful, because sometimes this can draw it up so fast that they will just be suppurating, meaning the pus will just keep coming out, keep coming out. In fact, they were giving, in one of the, I read somewhere that Swami Narayani gave this to a child that was deaf because there was an abscess behind the ear. And for 1 year, the child just kept spewing out pus. But after a year, the child could hear because it was really just all this morbid stuff stuck. So it's an excellent remedy, but I don't give this to people right away with infections that cover a broad part of their body. If it's a small part like the ear or a boil, yes. But if they have, let's say, psoriasis or some kind of condition that fills the whole body, I don't. Or herpes around the whole body. Even shingles that covers up a big part of their body, I don't, because it might be too much. But I will give this for bed sores. I'll give this for gangrene. I'll give this for boils, ear infections, etc. So it's a very, very, very interesting remedy. And they say use it with gunpowder CM. Gunpowder CM is not a Narayani remedy, but I find it's very useful for people with that one and war mix. So War Mix is a Narayani remedy. I don't know if we'll reach it today because I'm not sure what number it is. But War gunpowder is a very good combination for people with long-standing infections. So we've used it for people with anything from pneumonia to TB to even fungal infections in the body. I gave it to my dog, War gunpowder and Thuja for an ear infection. I think Jack also has gunpowder in CM. So anytime you have morbid infections, Narayani remedies are really good in combination. Just like for me, it works faster pa than Banerjee remedies. The combination of Banerjee remedies is to combine several Narayani remedies together when you're fighting off people with diabetes that already have wounds that don't heal, people with bed sores. 17, eye pills. So this is for glaucoma, muscular weakness, opacities, thrombosis, degeneration of eye muscles. I actually haven't tried it yet, but it looks really promising. I don't have any patients now with glaucoma or muscular weakness. So definitely try it and let me know if it works. I mean, let's share the information for something like this. There's also cataract remedies. Narayani also has a lot of cataract remedies. So I find glaucoma, cataract, these can be very difficult conditions, especially if they've already had intervention by medication, laser. It becomes a little tougher to reverse once they've already started on all these protocols. If you get them fresh, or if there's even a shadow of a doubt that they might get glaucoma, early macular degeneration, start them already on these eye pills. And there's eye pills, there's even Narayani eye vitamins. You can give them combinations of such. GFM. So this is a general fever flu mixture. This is one of the remedies found in the Narayani COVID kit. This one, I think, colds. He puts together also a kit of several remedies. I can find out, or on the web, I think on their website, there is the combination there of what they have in their COVID kit. And I think we have them all. So this one is just general for all kinds of flus and fevers. If you don't know what to give, or you're giving belladonna for a fever, it's not working, then you can do the GFM 200. So it can even be for encephalitis, viral conditions. So you see the picture. It's viral, flu, fever picture. So this one is an amazing OTC to have around as well, especially if you have kids, because that's really one of the number one things that they get. And if you look, it's just a good combination of all the top differentials. So if you're at a loss of what to give, belladonna. I mean, we're always giving belladonna, right? It's like number one. Maybe occasionally we'll give aconite, occasionally we'll give, let's say, Nuxvom or Ferrum Phos. But what's nice is this one also has nosodes of the influenza virus, influenza bacillinum meningococci. And this is part of a COVID protocol. This nosodes, the virus B. Oh, by the way, I think we also have, thanks to Ria, we have the COVID-19 Delta variant remedy already. I'm not sure what potency, but Jack has it. And then we have hay fever. So this can be same as cold mix. If you're treating somebody with hay fever, maybe it's not sticking, or you just want to give instant relief, definitely try the hay fever mix. It's only in 6x. So you can give it often, 6 times a day even, or even every hour, every 2 hours. If it is very acute, they keep sneezing, or they're very uncomfortable, their allergy is very acute, you can give this hay fever mix. And then this injury 200 is kind of like a aconite arnica combination. So it's for strains, sprains. So it's like arnica, but it's got Bellis perennis, it's got Hypericum, basically all the top differentials in one remedy. So this one also Narayani uses, Swami Narayani uses for post-stroke rehabilitation, is to also give the injury pills regularly. Because that's all involved. All the muscles in post-stroke paralysis are involved. KBS, number 21. Okay, this is a very interesting. This is like blood. This is like that drawing mix. It's a good remedy to give on the onset for people that are arthritic, rheumatic, gouty, kidney stones, because that's a whole diathesis in itself. People that tend to form stones in their kidneys, in their gallbladder, in their joints. So this is inflammation galore. So this is a nice remedy to give to just clear the layers, and you'll find out that maybe, and you can give this for long periods of time. You can give this for several weeks, months even. And sometimes some symptoms will just disappear with it because you've already cleared out all of the gunk stuck, not only in their joints, but also in between their fascia. So this one, anyone with painful feet or carpal tunnel, rhinitis, inflammation, you can give this. And not only does it have the top differentials of what we use for kidney conditions, gouty conditions, it also has interesting nosodes like a potentized kidney stone here, calculus. That's the calculi. And it has thyroid, parathyroid, because again, parathyroid is for the digestion of calcium and oxalic acids and other crystals that might accumulate in our joints and bones. Liver. So here's another thing that you can give when you're just clearing a picture of somebody that's also very gouty. Because it's not just the kidneys involved, it's also the liver, meaning they're not able to metabolize and throw out toxins properly. So the kidneys are not functioning well, the liver's not functioning well. They can have gallstones, spleen pain, jaundice, yellow eyes, etc. So you can definitely add this on. I have given kidney and liver remedies, but I started gradually. First, I'll start with KBS. And then if after a few days, 3, 4, 5 days, no aggravation, add liver. I add some remedies slowly, and then their bodies are just constantly detoxing and cleansing. So again, it's got all the top differentials for liver. So here, the next one, 23, is another of our menses remedy. And it's interesting that they put here, anytime you're working with somebody with menstrual complaints, give medarinum. And I usually give medarinum in a high potency, like 200 or 1 m, maybe once, twice a week. So if you're giving several remedies, and before, trust me, I never used to give several remedies. I usually combine them in high potency, like 200, 1 m, and then I'll give that every other day, or if it's a 1 m, 3 times a week, or every Saturday. It's usually the miasmatic remedies I give in high potencies, like 1 m once a week, and then the 200 maybe once a day, and then the 30 ch or whatever daily, 3 times a day, 4 times a day. So it's up to you. Just work in different potencies because it is working on different vibrations. And make your own potency. It's just, be creative. There's no right or wrong, I'm realizing now. Here, this is penmycin. So this is a remedy for gonorrhea, syphilis, tuberculosis. So this one is not a remedy that I give specifically for people with gonorrhea, syphilis, and tuberculosis, but people with that exhibit, let's say, always getting infections, always getting UTI, always getting tonsillitis. So that means that there is some strep or some kind of staphylococcus or streptococcus picture going on. And then this is why I give penmycin. Actually, now that I'm reading it, it's also for rheumatic fever. Because a lot of times if you get rheumatic fever, it's caused by the same kind of virus, and then it becomes chronic. The condition becomes chronic tonsillitis, chronic UTI, or some kind of chronic condition. Number 25, rheumatics and arthritis 200. So this is also part of your gout protocol. See, sometimes there's so many things for gout that you don't know what to give. So choose the best one, give 2 remedies at a time, and then see the progress after 2 to 3 weeks. And then you can add another remedy or you can subtract another remedy. I usually try to see if one remedy is working, like I give it maybe 3 to 5 days, or if I'm giving it 3-4 times a day, I see in 3 or 4 days if it's working or not, then I just transfer to another remedy. But if you're giving these things over time, it will do its work, albeit really slowly, like the Banerjee protocols, 1, 2, 3 months, sometimes they say to take protocol 1, right? This one is the same thing, but it's already combined. So I find that this works faster than Banerjee in combination. So anytime that you have this picture of goutiness, rheumatism, sciatica, so again, there's a lot of inflammation and the body is very acidic. All kinds of acids collecting in the joints and muscles and fascia. And then you look for concomitants. If it's together with constipation, then that's one of the reasons why they're not throwing off all of these toxins. Then you can give constipation remedy or digestive remedy. So look at your picture and connect the dots. And these remedies allow you to be very creative. So it's got all the top differentials. So actually, if you want to know your differentials for certain conditions, just look at these remedies. Shock, 200. So this is like injury pills, goes hand in hand for any acute shock, injury, post-stroke. Also never been well since a shock. You can still give this shock 200 because it's got all the differentials. I'm sure if we turn the page, it's got aconite and all the differentials for shock. So I give this also as part of grief remedies, especially if there's an element of shocking news. You know, when they get the news of someone, accident or something that really is unexpected, I give this together with Ignatia, this shock remedy. Oh, it doesn't have aconite. Interesting, but it's got Ignatia, it's got arnica. Okay, skin. So Narayani mixes has many nice skin combinations. So I give this also as a background remedy for people with any kind of skin condition. It doesn't have to be just psoriasis. It can be urticaria, it can be eczema, it can be blisters, blistering all over the body. I get all kinds of skin conditions, and sometimes we don't even know what the cause is. A lot of times, 100% of the time, we don't know what the cause is. There's just something in their body that's throwing out something. So this one can be used together with or in before drawing pills. So here it says, One must know the difference between this and drawing pills and when to use it. So with drawing pills, it's morbid conditions in a particular area or organ. So you're working on one area of elimination, as I said, the ear or a boil or a bed sore or a gangrene. If you have all over the body, don't use drawing pills, use Skin D. Because Skin D is a more gentle way of drawing out toxins, especially if they've suppressed it with steroids. In fact, with people with steroids, I don't ask them to stop steroids. It's always weaned off very slowly. Before, I used to tell them to stop or I won't treat you. It's a very Doc Ivan approach. But now, stay on it, and I give all of these things first to boost the immune system. I used Immunity CM. I don't know if it's part of the mix. I give backup, I give booster, I give ESEAC. So it's almost in preparation. Definitely adrenalinum, because the adrenals really suffer when you're on a lot of steroids. So maybe 1 month, 2 months on just these boosting remedies, and then start to withdraw the steroids. If not, it'll be too scary and too shocking for them to be covered again with pustules all over the body. So this one naman is if the infection is all over. So as you can see, it's got a good combination of remedies, especially for the skin. And it's got streptococci and staphylococci, which is contributory also to many different kinds of infections. Sleep 200. This is my favorite. So this one really knocks me out. I mean, I don't really have insomnia, but if I'm excited or I watch something on Netflix that's too exciting, or I binge watch and my brain's fried, then I take this. And here what they say is you can take 3 times in between dinner and your expected bedtime. So I just take this right before bed. After I shut my computer, I'll take one. And if I'm still tossing and turning, I'll take another one. But what I've done also is I take one and then I hold the remedy in my hand. It's that strong. You just hold it and you can actually feel the effect. You know, like the sleep is just crawling up your arm. It's really interesting. Or if you're really sensitive, you can feel something like that. So insomnia is one of the hardest things to treat homeopathically. Sometimes I give coffea. I can give all kinds of remedies to people that have insomnia, because you really need to treat the root cause. But this one, I think, is an interim. It can be an interim remedy as you are figuring out the root cause, or as you are treating other conditions. So there's this sleep, and then there's sleep 1CM. I'm not sure if it's a mix or it comes from another set. Sleep 1CM naman is a homeopathic version of all the top sleeping pills like Rohypnol, and I haven't actually tried that yet. I mean, because this one works for me so well. But there's an even stronger one called Sleep 1CM. And it's the homeopathic sleeping pills. Like the top. Valium, I think, is even in there. Rohypnol, all of this stuff. Okay, so Sufi 30. Sufi 30 naman is for stomach concerns, ulcers, flatulence, indigestion. So this can be hand in hand with liver. This can be hand in hand with other digestive remedies, acidity. So this one is one of many OTC, homeopathic OTC, for people that are dependent on PPIs and Tums and this Kremil S, all these things. So you look for the combination and you find what works for them as you're weaning them off their Kremil S or whatever they're taking for their. So this has all the top differentials if you look at it. Super, Nuxvom, Ipecac, China, Carbo-Veg. And some that I didn't think, like Ignatia. or anacardium. Definitely arginine is a digestive remedy. So Sufi, so it simply means stomach ulcer, flatulence, and indigestion. Or anyone that gets asthma or an allergic reaction after eating. Throat 200. So this one is for tonsillitis, diphtheria, throat conditions. This is also part of their COVID kit. Because a lot of times it just starts with a throat inflammation or a sore throat. It's got a nosodes in it, and it's got a totopathic penicillin, a nosode made out of penicillin. And it's got two kinds of nosodes, diphtheria and streptococcus. So then you can add also fever mix, the GFM if there's a fever. So of course, it goes well with the picture of most viral conditions like COVID as well. And then you can also add 31, which is tonsils 6X. It's mostly nosodes. It's got tonsils throat. This is a Tansley radionic remedy or a doused remedy for tonsils in the throat. And it's got also glands in it. Plus the top differentials. Vein pills. Actually, it's called vein piles. Piles is another word for hemorrhoids. So this one, anytime there is congestion, hemorrhoids, varicosities, varicose veins, leg ulcers, you can give this as a background or clearing remedy. This can even be for people with hypertension because there's congestion in their veins. I made some hypertension remedies and this was included in it, especially if they have a tendency for hemorrhoids. So anytime the blood vessels are too lax, they already lack the tautness in it. And as you can see, it's got some cell salts, especially calc fluor, which is for integrity of the cell walls or ligaments. So circulation, you can add this even to people with gout. You can give this to people with deep vein thrombosis. And it's got also all the good top differentials as well. This one has to be given over a long period of time too. If you've tried a Banerjee remedy for varicose veins or varicosities, hemorrhoids, and it hasn't worked, definitely give this a try. And then you can add blood. You can add blood with it, or you can look for concomitants in the body. Is there kidney functioning? Is there digestion okay? And you can give certain combinations that can speed it along faster. Vitiligo, and I like how they say that they haven't had much success with vitiligo. But anyway, it's here. Right? So vitiligo, I think this is when your skin becomes white, like Michael Jackson had vitiligo, or he claims to have vitiligo. And then add basilinum because there can be an element of infection or subacute infection that causes the vitiligo. And here they also add blood pills to clean the blood. Water balance. This the one is for either lack of water or edemas. So you can give this fluid retention or lack of fluid. So anytime that you need to balance water in this system, so malaria, sunstroke, edemas. Interesting. See, even when I'm looking at this, I'm thinking of patients like, oh, I should have tried this. I mean, I keep reading these books. I mean, going over this every day, going over my old cases, going over this and revisiting old cases that never moved and suggesting if we can give this just to see if there's any effect. Okay, 35, WAR 1M. So this one is, as I mentioned, very good for inflammations, and infections as well. The stronger the infection, the more often you can give war. So it's already got belladonna in it. It's got gunpowder. It's got penicillin, which is a tautopathic. It's a homeopathic version of penicillin. It even has allopathic cortisone. Like my dad always asked me, "What's your version, homeopathic version of steroids?" And I could never answer that. But here, this is homeopathic cortisone. It's a homeopathic steroid. So this has really helped some of my patients with very severe infections. Over time, it's really helped. And when you have skin conditions, I've learned from some of my patients that you can add also colloidal silver topically. You can add the CDS protocol. It's really helped some of them. You can add ozonated oil. So this I'm also learning because sometimes I'm too focused on homeopathy. And this really eases them from topical steroid use, especially the colloidal silver spray and the ozonated oil spray. Worms. I've just tried this on a kid, but I have no feedback yet if this is a good remedy for deworming. But if you look at it, it's got all the top differentials for worms: Sina, Spigelia, and Teucrium, which covers a wide range of worms already. But now they've added granatum for tapeworm and Felix mar for tapeworm as well. So you can try this. You can try it on dogs too. 37, acidity 30 CH. So this is the one I was telling you that I was experimenting on. And it works, but I've had to take it more often than other remedies. So every hour, every 30 minutes. Sorry, I just have to let all these people in. And you can give it with other remedies. It gives you suggestions like Sufi, digestion balance, liver mix, or liver balance. So you can really knock yourself out by making all kinds of combinations here. Back pain works on all back pain. So I've had mixed reviews with this. Back pain also is one of the hardest things for me to treat. A lot of times there really is a stress and emotional factor that they need to address. I've tried it on my dad. I made him a combination of back pain, sacral lumbar. There's also another remedy that's for sacral lumbar. There's a general pain mix. And according to his caregiver, he's not in, because he has fake vertebrae. He's got 3 ceramic vertebrae. He's 92. So, of course, there's definitely a degeneration in that area. And he's already been wheelchair bound. I mean, he can walk short distances, but he's already been wheelchair bound since the beginning of lockdown. Because from the beginning of lockdown, no exercise, no walking, staying at home. And that really caused his regression. But according to his caregiver, he has less pain now with this combination of bone remedies and back pain remedies that I've given him, all Narayani. Plus, of course, some Thymus 1M and some other meditative. I think I'm giving him frankincense, which is also a good meditative proving remedy for elderly people. So it's really managed his pain and his mood as well. So here, 39 is teeth decay. After this, we'll take a short break only because my throat's so dry now. Maybe we'll be able to finish not all of the mixes, but I'll plan another follow-up. But anyway, you'll have also all the material, so you can start anyway. I'm just giving you clinical experiences and also ideas on how you can combine these remedies. So teeth decay, so you can add this with the bone mix. So children or adults, especially if the teeth are black and affected and infected, when you see kids smile and it's already, the gums are black, definitely creosote is a very good remedy for that. So it's got also top differentials, as well as a Tansley Dental Carries MGA card. So that means it's a doused rate for teeth decay. So combine it with other teeth and bone remedies. Knee CA30CH, all knee conditions, used with OM16 and bone 1 mixture. OM is organo remedy. So there are, I'm not sure, 23, 41. Later on, before we stop, we can go over all the other remedies, even if I won't be able to discuss it. Just so you know, you'll also be given a list so you can do your own research. So you can combine this with the organo remedy specifically for knees. I have not tried this. Definitely have not tried this because I don't have any patients really with knee conditions. Okay, let's take just a 5-minute break. We'll convene at 6:40 and we'll dig right in. Post any questions you might have.
Denise, are these remedies, you buy them, or how does this work?
We have all the mixes available. I'll have Jed send you the list. We have them all as
Okay.
master, user. We have them
Okay,
all.
great.
Okay, we're back. So let me share again. So I was at Nice, have not tried that. Psoriasis 200CH, I have not tried this also. But it says all cases as a background remedy. So as you are treating them with their indicated miasmatic remedy, trying out the indicated differential like Ars Alb, Graphites, you can give this in the background as support. So actually, interesting is I do have some psoriasis cases, but they're abroad, and you cannot find Narayani remedies in the States, strangely enough. So I've had them order it from London. There are a few Narayani remedies on I&E Organics, but not the whole set. So here you can add also calming and stress or hysteria, because you'll find that people with this kind of chronic skin conditions, living with it is not easy. So a lot of times they have anxiety, some of them may be depressed. There's a lot of mind concomitants as well that go with it, especially if there's a flare up. Okay, SS pills. I have one patient that I'm trying this on now together with male balance and other male libido remedies. No feedback yet, but this is all the top differentials for andropause, or when the male hormone testosterone starts to wane, and then they have problems connected with this. So it's got Agnus castus and Onosmodium. So these are both for male and female that are experiencing libido problems or frigidity. No feedback yet. Tremors, 30CH, Parkinson's, chorea, twitching, tics, trembling, paralysis, spasms. Also have not tried it yet because I don't have any patient with that. Actually, my dad has Parkinson's, but it's very mild, and I seem to be treating him for so many other things instead of this. So interestingly, it's got cocaine in it and other differentials that I've never heard of, except for zinc. So thallium, I've not heard of that. And mygale-las, I have not heard of that either. So these are all interestingly new remedies for me. So you can try that and just share your feedback. So trigeminal neuralgia 1cm. So this is for tooth pain. Anytime that they have that kind of pain that's a nerve going upwards, it doesn't also necessarily have to be in the trigeminal nerve area. It's got the same picture as hypericum, and hypericum is a component of it. So any pain, nerve pain from the waist upwards, or it can be taken prophylactically before dental treatment. And again, it's got some Tansley, trigeminal neuralgia card, and cranial nerve. 45, atomic radiation. I hope we never have to use this remedy, but you never know. Some people might be working in areas where they are exposed to radium and other radioactive substances that we don't know about. Sometimes these can also be contained in paints and materials for construction, right? So they might be exposed to this. Also, any radiation. So we're talking about doctors that work in X-ray clinics, or anytime that there's a regular exposure to radiation, you can also give this. Have not tried this as well. Allergy 200 for pesticides, insecticides, carbon monoxide. I am giving this now as part of a protocol for somebody with allergy that lives near a highway with a lot of traffic. So there must be some inhalation of carbon monoxide there. So you also have to ask your patient, where do they live? What are they inhaling on a daily basis? Do they work in a farm? Is there spraying going on? A cataract compound. Have not tried it, but it's 10M. Wow. So it's got really interesting components: crystalline lens and collagen, naphthalinum, and thiocinaminum, which dissolves scar tissue, as well as calc floor, plus a card for different kinds of cataract varieties. And you can use it together with vitamin I compound 10M, which I think is also one of the mixes. Chest tonic. So this is for anemic and kids with a lot of chest conditions, tendency for asthma, tendency for rhinitis, or they're always, every time they catch a cold, it drops down to the chest, so they have a cough with expectoration. So that's what the definition of chesty children is. So this can be one of your remedies for kids with rhinitis and asthma as a support, or to treat an acute as well. Epilepsy 1M, have not tried this as well. I don't have any epilepsy cases. You could try this on dogs with epilepsy. I get more dog with epilepsy cases, and I always give them belladonna and or cuprum. So this one is interesting, that treat with blood sugar balance, because I guess the imbalance also in blood sugar causes epileptic attacks. So this has all the top differentials for epilepsy: cicuta, cuprum, belladonna. And Asterias rubens, interesting. That's a starfish. Earache 30C. So all earache cases, especially if there's an infection, you can add war. You can, if there's discharge, you can add the drawing pill so that it all comes out. Remember that story I told you of the child that was deaf until all the pus came out? And ear balance. So ear balance is part of the balance remedies. We have them, but we probably won't even have time to reach that part. Left-sided pain, 200C. So anytime that there's left-sided pain, but you don't know what, could be the spleen, could be the kidney, but they're just complaining of left-sided pain, you can try this. I have tried it. I can't say that that was the one that worked, although there was relief, but I was also giving lachesis. So I should really try these remedies as a standalone first and see if they work. And then there's right-sided pain. So I've also given this, but together with lycopodium, which is a right-sided pain remedy. Interestingly, both these remedies don't include lachesis or lycopodium. But anyway, it's here for you to use should you find that you've exhausted all leads and are now really trying to look for something that might work for right-sided. So you just have to see what's on the right side. It's the liver, the gallbladder, the kidney, pancreas, and also look at what meridians are on the right side. Spasm 1M. So this is palliative until a cause is found and treated. So I guess this can be like trigeminal neuralgia. This can be for back spasms. I guess this is a general spasm remedy. I have also not tried this yet, but it looks like it's for stammering, hiccups, colic, and any kind of spasmodic tics and twitches as well. Menses pain, so this is the same as spasms. This can also be, and I think we had a remedy earlier also for spasmodic pain. So this is for dysmenorrhea or cramping pain. It's got all the top remedies for cramping pain: Coliphylum, Chamomilla, Magphos. And interestingly, it's got the pituitary anterior gland in it, which regulates the abnormalities of the menses. I never knew that until now. So now I'm going to actually give pituitary anterior, which I have as a standalone remedy as well. Menses bleeding. So anytime that you have an issue, like remember the climacteric, so you got to break it down and analyze if there's excess bleeding, if it's irregularity, what's the main issue? Is it cramping, headache, so on and so forth? And then start there and then add the other remedies. So the case I'm working on now is menopause with abnormal bleeding or non-stop bleeding, which is very common for people with in menopause. So I'm giving the menses bleeding and the menses irregular. And recently I've just added climacteric on top of that. Heart palpitations, any abnormal condition of the heart. So bradycardia, too fast, too slow. So this regulates. And it's got digitalis and crataegus, which are the remedies I use anyway for any kind of irregular heartbeat. But it's also got other remedies in it as well. It's got a few cell salts, and it also has a heart Tansley rate in it. I have used this, and it's helped. It's definitely helped. But I've also given it together with some other arnica, with arnica heart. Hand rheumatism works on small joints. I have not tried this one. So it's for cramping in the hand, carpal tunnel, or trigger finger. You can try this. So this works on the small joints. So these remedies, Actea spectata, these are really specific remedies for small joint arthritis. I should actually try this for my, I only have one arthritic pinky finger, just one joint, interestingly. Pain 10M works on pain. So I guess this is like an all-around painkiller. It's got more homeopathic morphine, aconite, gunpowder, and then Frobin, which is another kind of pain medication, as well as a Tansley rate for pain. I have tried this, but I can't say that it's the only one that's worked. So my problem now is I'm giving too many combinations. And to answer your question, Ria, you had a question here. What's the max number of combinations I've given? A lot, like 6. I've literally thrown everything, including the kitchen sink. But these were very, very acute cases. One was in the hospital ICU, very sick. And the other one was just really end of the line. Years and years and years of steroids, years and years of antibiotics. Even Johnson. So we're talking end of the line. There's no more antibiotics she could take. There's no more steroids that she can take because none of them have worked and they've clearly contributed to it. So I threw a lot of immune support remedies, war, gunpowder, infection. I just made this combination, and A last report was definitely getting better, clearing out. The lymph nodes have dropped. So instead of the lymph nodes that were infected higher in the body, they're now lower in the body. So that's a sign that the infection is leaving the body. Mental state, very good. So there, I have thrown everything, including the kitchen sink, for these very serious cases. So I'll just answer the question. For children and mothers eating too much sugar, um, I would, arginate is a good one, lycopodium, but then there's also sugar balance remedies here. Narayani sugar balance remedies for craving. What book is this? I'm not sure. I don't remember what book. Joanne, what book were you referring to? Anyway, just let me know what book. Yes, definitely easier to take. Cecile, I think your niece has had good success with the kidney remedies. And Love has also had a lot of success with her patients that are on dialysis. The creatinines improve. We've really seen a marked improvement with the Narayani kidney combinations. We give maybe 2 or 3 combinations, and we've seen the blood work improve immensely. Okay, back to, where was I? Oops, not there. I think. Herpes 30C. I haven't tried it, but now that I see it, I definitely have patients that I need to give this to, not because they have herpes, but because they have unexplained blistering all over the body. It's already a skin condition that's not urticaria, it's not eczema, it's not psoriasis, but it's blistering all over the body. So anytime, this can be for shingles, these can be for fever blisters, this can be for chicken pox, anything, as long as there's no pus. It has to be liquid in the blister, not pus. Why is there an upside down page? Like, oh, easy pala to fix. Acne 200. So this is for the skin with or without pus formation. I've tried this on my nieces. No feedback yet because I haven't seen them. But this is a good teenage remedy, especially if they're breaking out, puberty, that age. You can definitely try this remedy for that. Allergy B. So you can add this depending on the cause of the allergy. So the one that earlier I said was specifically for carbon monoxide because of the exposure to traffic. But then I'm also giving him allergy B because this is the kind of allergy that is chronic, and none of the, not even Ars Alb, Allium, we've gone over and over all of these remedies. But I also think it is because he's addicted to his inhaler. So we're weaning from the inhaler. So I've had to give him some cleansing. I think there's a cleansing mix here that's good for cleansing and clearing allopathic and steroid and antibiotic use. So here, this is allergic conditions of skin as well as nasal passages. So skin asthma as well as respiratory asthma, hay fever. It's got feathers, grass, pollen, hay dust, house dust, and histamine as well. Also from cat milk. So for people that are allergic to cats or dander. And you can also add urtica. It says when it's acute, give 6 times a day. And you can add urtica urines 30 as well. Backup. Backup I've been giving a lot, especially when in chronic conditions, just to boost the immunity. So this is for blood, immune system, glands, and bones. So this one includes anemia balance, blood sugar balance, glandular. So this is actually a combination of other remedies that they've put together. So in Narayani, they have combination of homeopathic remedies, combination of homeopathic remedies with allopathic remedies and nosodes. But they also have combination, especially when we go to the Soham series, where they add all the other mixes and also their balance remedies are combinations of several of their, it's combinations of combinations. So when do you use a simple combination with a combination of combinations? I find that combinations of combinations may be too weak. So if I'm trying to attack something more acute, I will give simple combinations. But if I'm just giving it as a background remedy or as a support remedy or because they have a tendency, I treat it more like a cell salt as a support and a balance or background remedy. So backup definitely for anyone who is beating some kind of chronic condition, no matter what. Anyone that has an autoimmune condition, no matter what. Any malignancy, any viral condition, always good to support the body and the immunity. Here it says a must for cancer, including the viscum album compounds, which are cancer mixes. Bad temper mix, have not tried this. But you might want to try this on kids that have tantrums or husbands that are masungit. I don't know, dogs that are not friendly, because this is mostly liver remedies, and we hold anger in the liver. Bedwetting works on the bladder and kidneys. It's got all the top differentials for kidney and bladder, as well as on miasmatic medurinum. And medurinum, as I mentioned earlier, give it to people with menses, give it to people with kidney, urinary issues, because medurinum focus is on the sacral area, on the sacral chakra, or disorders of that area, including warts, venereal warts, so on and so forth. Bilharzia. So this is a parasite, schistosoma parasite or fluke. So you can give this for that, or you can just give this for somebody that exhibits the same kind of picture. Schistosomiasis. I guess this was needed a lot in Africa and in India, but in the rural areas here, we'll need it also. So this is a kind of worm or fluke that enters and causes grave anemia and schistosomiasis. So very specific for that. Calcium, you can add this for, that bone mix. So this also works on calcium in the body. So we lack calcium because we take too much medication and it destroys the calcium balance. We can also be taking too much pills. It can be menopause. It can be any kind of calcium imbalance. Also from malnutrition. So this one actually has bone mix in it already. Plus, so this is like a combination of the bone mix earlier. So it's got the top differentials for bone. It's got the top cell salts for bone. And it also has parathyroid, which is for calcium metabolism. And here you can add, if like for example, very older people with hip issues, bone issues, osteoporosis, you can add backup mix, especially if they're very low in vitality. And combination 12, we will get to combination 12 soon. So for children who have had vaccinations and immunizations, they should be given a course of this remedy. Also for expectant mothers, and even newborn babies and babies, just to strengthen their bones. Accidents and injuries, all cancer patients. So anything that might degrade the calcium balance in the body. So very good background support. Very good support remedy. Here's another cataract compound. Interestingly enough, it's got a crystal in it, cat's eye. It's an infrared crystal or the hottest ray. So it's for very bad eye conditions. It's got the cataract compound earlier, and it also has eye balance. and Om28, which is organo remedy, thymus. So that's the immune system. So Narayani also uses a lot of thymus in it. Red bone marrow, ruby red, which is another gemstone color remedy. So this was in India for doctors who are doing field work on only eyes. The bases are cataract compound and eye balance. Now we have CB8. So that's combination 8. And this is for nervous conditions, people that are anxious, people that are on anxiety medication. You can give this to them together with calming pills or even shock pills. If there's an etiology of never been well since something shocking. And you don't wean them off their anxiety pills, don't wean them off their medication, but give this as a background remedy until you feel that they are strong enough and that you can start weaning them off their medication. So it's good support for nervous and emotional conditions. It's also good for acute hysteria, getting bad news, never been well since bad news. CB9 is more for respiratory. Combination 9 is more for respiratory. So you can add this to your respiratory mixes. It's got organ remedies of the bronchi. It's got cell salts. So it's good for mucous membranes. It's actually got mucous membrane in it, interestingly enough. I find these combinations with Tansley rates, when you see lung, when you see mucous membranes. I'm not sure if this was actually made by a piece of lung or a piece of mucous membrane that they made into a remedy, or if Tansley just doused the rate and added it on. But I find it adds that extra oomph in raising vitality. When homeopathic remedies are not enough, I find that adding these extra organo remedies, sacral chakra remedies, an added bonus for pushing the case along as well. And CCA, this is also part of their, excuse me, my water. This is also part of their COVID kit. So chest, coughs, and asthma. It's got all the top differentials for asthma, Bryonia, Calibic, Antart. Plus, it's got some organ remedies to strengthen the vibration of the bronchi. It's got mucous membranes. It's got Rumex, one of the top differentials, also for asthma and coughs, and sulfur as well. Cleansing mix. So cleansing mix is different from drawing mix. Cleansing mix I use for people that have been on steroids, on antibiotics. So this is a detox for that. So it has Nuxvam, Califos. It even has a diazepam compound. So diazepam is an allopathic medication that's very specific, although this diazepam compound is applicable to most allopathic remedies that it's trying to detox the body from. So here it's got detoxify, a Tansley compound, antidoting allopathic drugs, chemicals, and insecticides. So it's excellent for cleansing the body after allopathic drugs have been used, drug addicts, smokers, or drinkers, to kick the habit, given with backup boosters. If I feel that detox is the first step before anything else, then I will give this remedy. But note that I also now have the Janssen detox protocol specific to steroids and antibiotics. And maybe that's the subject of another talk. So if it's really been long and chronic use of steroids, I would do the Janssen steroid because it's got all the steroids in it, almost every brand. And for the antibiotic compound, it's got all the brands of antibiotics in it. DB mix. So this is specific for diabetes and pancreas. So when you have somebody with diabetes, there's many diabetic combinations here, but sometimes I start with, I don't get them off their medication, definitely, But I start with, depending on their vitality, maybe with boosters, or I start with liver detox, pancreas. This DB mix is also good before we even address withdrawing or even diet, because sometimes they have no will. They're weak-willed because their vitality is low. So they still eat a lot of sugar. So you boost them up so that they feel better, and then slowly they will on their own give up sugar because their body is already rejecting it. So this is nice because it also has pancreatin, which is a nosode of pancreatin, a hormone from the pancreas, plus the top differentials, Syzygium, Ortica, alfalfa. So here it says all diabetics have an emotional problem. Is this a broad statement? I'm trying to think of all the diabetics I know, and yes, they could have some issues, whether it's anger, whether, yeah, some of them have some kind of issues. Depression also is a big one. Anger is a big one. So here you can add fear balance, depression balance, shock calming. So add an emotional mixture as well when you're working on a detox for diabetics. See, so that's what's nice about Narayani Remedies. It's a lot of support remedies as you're working on other issues, doing other modalities, because even Swami Narayani herself said that you should do massages and food, and it's not just homeopathic intervention that you should do, but you should do all other support as well. So here, debility, so blood system and adrenal. So these are for people that are recovering. These are also people that have been on a lot of steroid use because it boosts up the adrenaline. Because when you withdraw from adrenaline, you also have a tendency to become weak and debilitated because your adrenals have forgotten how to function optimally. So debility is good support for many conditions, from diabetes, cancer, recovery from a virus, weaning from adrenals, skin conditions, eczema, psoriasis. You can definitely add this. This one is also this, I don't know how to pronounce it, dyspnea. Well, that's just difficulty breathing. So this is part of their COVID mix, chest and lungs. So Aspidosperma is one of the top remedies to open up the lungs right away. So I've actually been using this. Thanks, Michi, for giving it to me. For a lot of COVID patients where carbo-veg has failed. Aspidosperma, we have it in almost all potencies. Plus other top differentials like carbo-veg and calicarb, oxygen. These are all good remedies for opening the lungs. So definitely for part of your Narayani COVID kit. Ear nerve mix. I haven't had a chance to use this yet, but I would guess this is for tinnitus or deafness, especially if something exploded in their ear and ruptured their eardrum, sensitive to loud noises. So any ear nerve condition, you can try this. Inner ear condition as well. Have not tried it yet. Epilepsy B. So it's another epilepsy remedy, more for fits, blackouts, and dizzy spells. And it's got the top differentials like Zincomet, Veratrum album, sulfur. These are all good epilepsy remedies, and it is used together with or as an alternative to epilepsy mix number 50. So if they get epilepsy from shock, you can add rescue or paramedic mix. Flu pack. So this is another one that's in their COVID kit, I noticed. Fever, chest, lungs, and muscles. And this is in 10M. So this one has the chest cough mix. This is Eupatorium perfolatum. That's what I'm assuming this is, U per top. Fever balance, plus it's got the combination of fever balance and the general flu mix as well. And you can take this as soon as one feels a flu coming up. You can take it prophylactically. I've given this to people that have gotten the flu after the vaccine. So it seems to have helped. So they never got COVID, but after the vaccine, they just developed the flu-like symptoms that's lasted for days and weeks. I've used this with other Narayani remedies. I would have given oscillococcinum, I would have given gelsemium, but now I'm really trying to test all of these remedies. Gastro mix, gastric flu mix, liver, bowel, intestines. This is good for digestive issues. I've given this to my dog and it seemed to have helped him because he's just #1 basurero, eats a lot of basura everywhere. I guess it's his half Aspen blood. And this has really helped. You know, when I see sometimes his poop is soft or not looking good, I give him a course of gastro mix and that usually sorts it out. So I guess you could also use this as support for any gastro condition in dogs, like parvo, lepto, because these have elements of vomiting and diarrhea as well. Glandular fever mix, lymph mix. I've given this to somebody with glandular fever and lymphedema, lymph issues, cellulitis as well. Very helpful, very helpful. But I've also added other war and gunpowder to it. Yeah, because here it said, take with war and gunpowder. It really, really helped. That patient I was telling you about with severe lymph infections to the point that she's already had like 3 or 4 operations on the lymph nodes. Gout mix, you can add this to the other gout mix, KBS. So I would actually clear out first before giving a gout mix. I would clear out the kidneys. I would give KBS. I would clear the liver, give some liver mixes. I would give blood and portal drainage. There's also one remedy here for portal, draining out all the veins. And then I would give more specific gout mix. But if there was an acute occurrence of gout, sometimes they can't wait to detox, right? Give them a gout remedy like Lidum or Aconite to get them out of the acute stage, to help them out of the acute stage. And then support them with liver cleaners and KBS to root out the root cause, which is that their body is just not getting rid of those crystals. It's accumulating in their body. Grief mix, shock emotions, so use like Ignatia, never been well since shock. It's got back flower here as well as the top differentials for grief, like Natmur, Ignatia. And the back differentials for grief, like Gore, Stark Bethlehem, Sweet Chestnut. So it's really nice. It's beautiful the way she's made these combinations. Really beautiful. Here, usage. Broken love affair, loved one, emotions out of balance, or whenever a mental adjustment is needed. Hair tonic, 6X, hair follicles. Oh, I should try this. So it's really the top cell salt differentials for hair plus sulfur. So dry hair, dry scalp, itching scalp. So even if you don't have an itching scalp, but you need like your hair's falling from the folic, you look at it and you see follicles in it, or you look at your hair and it's brittle and cracked, then you can give this. But this is over a long period of time. And you can also add other detox remedies or liver or hormonal menses, because sometimes when hair is falling, it can be thyroid related, hormonal, it can be menses related, it can be liver related as well, or it can be cell salt. You're lacking some kind of calcium or biotin or some kind of nutrient in the hair. So headache, blood pressure, I give this to people with hypertension, sometimes with or without headache. I'll give this as a support. So this just really helps the circulation in the body. It's a good background remedy for people with hypertension. And please do not wean off hypertensive medicine. Very dangerous. They have to be very strong. They have to have had many months of regular blood pressure. They have to be feeling at the top of their game. Their diet is good. I mean, you can wean, but don't stop. So as they're getting better, you can wean, but don't stop until they're feeling really good about themselves. So for headaches, I think this can be for any congestive headache, not just high blood. So any type of pressure headache where it feels like your veins are about to pop, because belladonna is there, glonoinum is there. These are the top differentials for congestive headaches. Immunity CM. This is a wonderful remedy. I give this across the board for any chronic condition, any autoimmune condition. I even give this before withdrawing from any kind of medicine. Lupus, they're on so much medication. Fibromyalgia. I give immunity. I give backup. I give booster. So even before I detox, they may not be strong enough to detox. I don't give the drawing. I don't give the cleansing. I just boost 1-2 months. And then when they're feeling better, that's the only time that I may detox by giving detox like even KBS or even liver detox. I don't even go there yet. If the person is very weak or on so much medication, I just boost first for 1 to 2 months. Definitely for autoimmune, this is a very, very good remedy. Also for COVID, anything that you need, anything that needs an element of immunity. Although for COVID, there's another immunity mix that I use. So this one is measles mix, measles 50M. It even has pearl orange, which is a color, a gem color. And morbillinum is a measles nosode, which we have also. So who really needs MMR? Did I really say that? Very controversial statement. Meniere's disease. Let's reach until 90 and then we'll inform you of the next talk. So we can go. We have 250 remedies. We're only on remedy 88. So maybe two more informal chats like this. Meniere's, I've given this. I have no feedback yet because we just started, but I actually know of a lot of people with ringing in the ears, water, or the sensation of water in the ears. And a lot of times it has to do, for me, with the alignment of the jaw. They always overlook that their jaw can be misaligned and then they tend to hold water there. So it's got the top differentials for Meniere's or just fluid in the ears. Can also cause ringing. It can cause balance issues. Vertigo definitely can cause vertigo issues because this is inner ear. There's water in our inner ear that helps us to balance. So you can just give this a background remedy as you're finding also a vertigo remedy. Very good to give as well. Mouth and gum mix. So this is for mucous membrane. So anyone that gets singaw, anyone with degrading gum. So this is different from teeth. So sometimes I combine this mucous membrane remedy with a calcium remedy if I see really a degradation of the dental area. So not only is there an infection, not only is there nerve pain, but also their gums are receding. And look at meridians. Each tooth is associated with a certain meridian. So you may find that your gums are receding only in certain meridians, like the stomach area, the lung area. So look into that. That's another place that you can explore. And here, nutrition. So I give this also for people that are very debilitated, people that have cancer, tuberculosis, AIDS. So this is very good for boosting people up as well and toning the entire system. Sometimes if they're just elderly people that are weak, bedridden, people with strokes that can't eat properly, people that are on drips, pegs, NGT feeding tubes, definitely give the nutrition mix. People in the ICU that are not getting enough nutrition, people in the hospital that hate hospital food or that have no taste buds at all. So I give this to my dad. Although right now he's gained so much weight, I actually should stop. He keeps complaining that he can't taste food, but yet he keeps eating ice cream. I guess when you reach a certain age, he can only taste extreme things like sweet and sour. So paksiw, sinigang, and ice cream is the only thing that he eats now. So instead of, because I hate this Ensure, that's why he was addicted to Ensure, because he feels that he's not getting enough nutrients from his limited diet. So he was on Ensure, but I find Ensure terrible. I substituted Ensure with nutrition, and actually now I think he's too fat that he can't even button his pants anymore. Okay, I said I would stop at 90. We're reaching 7:30. I could go on, but I'm also really exhausted. So I'll answer questions. Ta, 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 ta. Here, let's go up. Questions, questions, questions. The book that I'm presenting, you'll all get a copy of it. This is the Narayani book, Handbook on Healing. So I just scanned it kanina. But I'll send two handouts. One is I don't know if most of you have gotten it, but it's also a scanned copy of the Narayani remedy. And that one is by issue. And what's nice is in the back, they have differentials also. Like, for example, for circulation, these are the remedies you can use. For digestion issues, these are the remedies you can use. For detox, I posted it in the chat. But anyway, I'll have Jed send it to the entire database. So even people that didn't sign up for this will still get it anyway, because there's no way to differentiate. We didn't have a sign up sheet for this. Yes, the kidney remedies, the liver remedies, the boosting remedies, the immunity remedies. I can't praise them enough. They've really been a godsend for a lot of stuck cases, a lot of because what's happening now, I'm noticing, is there's no one remedy or similimum anymore because of the toxins, because of just the general state of the world as it is, with all the pressures, mental, emotional. So I find these remedies are very good for clearing a lot, and then you will see a picture for the one similimum. Yeah, Sammy's been my guinea pig for a lot of these remedies.
Would there be like a basic, Denise, that you would say, like, start with the 10 basic or the 10 most, or would we have to go through them and see which ones we think we would need?
You know what you can do? I can come up with a basic, but it all depends. Is it basic respiratory, basic liver? So you can just send Jed a message. I'll try and organize them into organ systems. But anyway, the book that we're sending you will have in the back. Actually, I'll bring it up now. You're all gonna get. Oh gosh, I have so much material. Here. Ta-da. So you're all gonna get this book as well. And in the back, so basically it's also everything I've discussed, all the mixes plus the balance remedies, chakra remedies, gem remedies. We don't have it all, but we have, I would say, 90%. But in the back, so tiny. Here, therapeutic index. So for cancer, these are the remedies that you can give. We don't really have some of the, like the crystal remedies, we don't have flame aura, we don't have malachite. The crystal remedies we don't have. And also we have the gem combinations. Here, circulatory, but then again, it's just a lot. So what you can do is just send a message of the general issue that you want to treat. It may take 1 or 2 days for me to get back to you,
No problem.
but I can come up with a protocol based on
Okay.
the. So this is a very useful index at the back of the book as well. Okay, any other questions? Here, there was a question. The blood remedies can be used also for producing too much red blood cells. Yes, it's a balance. It's a balance. So it just balances the vitality. So it's not just a lack, it can also be for an overproduction. Just like how I use ferrum phos for under people that lack iron and people that have too much ferritin in the blood. It's a balance. Okay, so would 30CH for acute still work? Yes, it would. It definitely would. And used in combination as well. So here, there's some people that have tried it and it's worked for them. Okay, yes, I can share at some point. Actually, I'm thinking of coming up with a Narayani class. This is just an overview of remedies, but I can come up with a Narayani class. I was mentioning it in my course 3 class that I think there's a need for specific conditions, a class for specific conditions, top differentials, Narayani remedies, chakra support, for let's say liver, digestion, respiratory, autoimmune. So I'll come up with that slowly. Slowly. Being the operative word. Any other questions? So these are amazing. Ria, your kit is almost done by next week. So some people ordered the entire kit. So instead of 250 a remedy for the entire kit, it's 120. So it comes out to 30,000 for the 250 remedies. Yes, Ria, please be a teacher. We need people teaching already. Teacher's assistant. Okay. Oh, sure. Okay, that's good. And eventually you can also become a teacher. Let's collaborate. I actually have a short list. I think Ria should be a teacher. Definitely. So many here can be teachers. Ellie, Ria, Kira. I don't know if Kira's here. Yes, definitely, JM. So any questions? No questions? Jack will send you a list of all the remedies we have and the Narayani book and the Narayani handout specific just to the mixes. Because then there's a whole handout I'm going to go in the next talk, which will include the remaining mixes, plus we'll go into the Soham combinations. Okay, guys, nice seeing you all. Watch out for the date for the next free talk on Narayani Remedies.
Thank
Take
you,
care,
Denise.
guys.
Thank you.
See you. Bye.